Hey! Welcome to No Proxy. This is our deck tech building guide on how to do an Eldrazi deck. Power level 10, budget maximum. Go ahead and you bust that credit card out, it's going to be maxed by the end of this. But it's going to put a lot of power on the table they're going to have to deal with. And I'm not going to steer you wrong. So let's get right into it. Going into the commander, we got Kozilek, the Great Distortion. So Kozilek is a great commander for this deck because he's going to refill your hand back up to 7 no matter how low you are to keep those bombs full. He's also going to counter spells when you need to. Being that we're colorless, we don't have much interaction with the board in the way of countering. So he's going to provide that on the field. Going in to the bombs, we got 12 bombs coming at you, starting with Blightsteel Colossus. So Blightsteel is important. When he hits the field, people know. Most people have interacted with the Blightsteel before. He's going to close the game out quick if they don't deal with him. He needs one hit with the Infect, and he's going to shut it down. Going into Pathrazer of Ulamog. So Pathrazer of Ulamog, another great bomb. He's got Annihilator, so he's got removal built into him. Also, you have to multi-block to actually stop him. So he's going to clear the field even more. Just more removal built into a creature. The next one, Void Winterer. Void Winterer is nasty because he's messing with your opponents. It's kind of a hate bear theme going. The even mana spells can't be cast by opponents, and even mana creatures can't do any blocking. So it's going to help you push through. It's going to interrupt their gameplay. Going to the next one, It That Betrays. So we have a lot of Annihilator going on. It That Betrays is going to make it to where when stuff is hitting the opponent's graveyard, it's going to come back onto our field. So it's going to build our board wide, which is good because we don't have a way to go super wide in the deck that we're doing. Ceaseless Hunger. Ceaseless Hunger, he has removal. When he hits the field, he's removing stuff. He's also going to mill them. So great for taking out, hitting their library, getting actually threats out of the way before they hit the field. Artisan of Kozilek. Artisan, more removal because of the Annihilator. So we have a lot of Annihilator built into the creatures. He's also going to bring stuff back from the grave for some recursion. Always good to have. Darksteel Colossus. Darksteel Colossus, he's like a toned down Blightsteel. He's not going to end the game right away with one hit, but he's going to be hard to remove. They're going to have to deal with him one way or another. He's just another big bomb. Desolation Twin. Desolation Twin, one of my personal favorites. He comes out, he brings another 10/10 token. So he's just going a little bit wide, causing more. It's just a great bomb to drop out. And then, Breaker of Armies. So Breaker of Armies, you have to multi-block him. He's going to clear the board. He's going to stop the opponents from putting up a defense. Let the other attackers through. Great to have. We got Ulamog, Infinite Gyre. He's in there. He's going to stop a mill deck from actually milling you out. So any mill deck is going to be inefficient when this guy hits the field. Emrakul, the Promised End. He's just there to take over an opponent's turn, waste all the cards in their hand, basically shutting them out of the game. And then Kozilek, Butcher of Truth. Kozilek's in there. He's another anti-mill. So when they're milling you and they hit him, you're going to shuffle everything back into your library, and you've stopped the mill out. Coming up next, we got 14 mana rocks. They're going to be a must include in this deck. First up, we got Mana Vault. So Mana Vault comes out. It's going to generate you a whole ton of mana, which is going to be very important to getting those bombs out. Another one, Mana Crypt, similar to Mana Vault. High mana. You're going to be generating a lot of mana to either play more bombs or to get more mana rocks. Grim Monolith. These are all expensive, by the way. So these things you can sub out with any colorless mana rock. It's just if you have the budget, these you want mana rocks that generate you the most amount of mana for the least amount of mana to get them out. It ramps you quick. So Grim Monolith, another great mana rock. Expensive, but definitely worth it. Basalt Monolith. Another mana rock. 3 mana you tap it for. It's going to help you when you're getting those bombs. We got Soul Ring. Go ahead and add that 2 colorless mana to that pool. Thran Dynamo. Add 3 colorless mana to that pool. Hedron Archive. You go ahead and add 3 more to that pool. It's a pretty big bomb. Oh, Hedron Archive. Add 2 colorless, like a Soul Ring. Golem's Eye. Another 2 mana, basically a Soul Ring right there. Sisei's Ring. You add 2 colorless, similar to Soul Ring. A Thought Vessel, you add 1 colorless, but it helps you with the hand size. Mind Stone, 1 colorless. You can go ahead and sack it, though, for a card draw. So the utility's there. Ever-Flowing Chalice. Ever-Flowing Chalice is a dangerous card in this deck. Because if you have 12 mana on the board that you can tap, you can fill this up and put 6 counters on it, so it taps for 6 colorless. This is going to set you up for a big play and a big bomb. And we got Thran Temporal Gateway. This is kind of an honorary mana rock. It lets you put a historic permanent from your hand onto the field for a low cost. So you can cheat out stuff. It also, you're not casting it, which is important. So no one's going to counter whatever you're playing with it. So it's very, very powerful when you use it that way. You're going to get the bombs out. Definitely with this one. And going into the next section, we got 9 mana dorks or kind of ramp creatures. These are creatures that are going to come out and just bring mana, or they're going to tap for mana. Also, block for you too. Ooh, Pilgrim's Eye. When Pilgrim's Eye comes out, you go ahead and you search for a basic land, put it to your hand, helps make sure to thin that deck out. Burnished Heart. So Burnished Heart comes out, you get to sack it, get more mana out of the deck onto the field. Great ramp card. Solemn Simulacrum, the sad robot. All of ours favorite. If you play him, he fetches a land for you. If he dies, he gets a draw. He's a must-have in this one. Ooh, the Plague Mirror. Plague Mirror, easy card to add. Taps for 1 colorless. He does his job, he's going to ramp you. Kozilek's Channeler. He's taps for 2. He's like a Soul Ring on a creature. What's not to like about that one? Mannequin. Taps for 1 colorless. 1 colorless, pretty good. Still can block as a chump blocker. I'll take that one. The Hedron Crawler. Hedron Crawler, another mana dork. Taps for 1. And chump blocker. Warden of Geometries. Another chump blocker. Has vigilance, so you can still attack while you tap for the mana. Well, that's pretty good value right there. And then Palladium Mirror, the Soul Ring of the mirrors. Taps for 2 mana, gives you everything you want to ramp into the bombs. Next up are removal spells. So there's 4 removal spells. As I've said before, there is removal on the Annihilators. So this is just additional removal to help keep your opponents on their toes, to keep the field clear. First up, we got Unstable Obelisk. So Unstable Obelisk is I know what you're thinking, it's a mana rock, it's also a removal, because you can sack it to remove. So I treat it as you're going to use it mainly for removal most of the time, because you have plenty of mana rocks, believe me. Steel Hellkite. Steel Hellkite, great colorless removal. He's going to fly over your opponent's battlefield, deal the damage, and then you're going to dump mana to destroy certain things that are of the certain mana value. Great removal right there. Spine of Esau. Spine of Esau is going to remove something as it drops into the field, and then as it leaves the field, it's also going to remove something. It's a 2-for-1. I like the 2 birds in the bush kind of thing. Or 2 birds in 1 stone, I should say. And then Meteor Golem. Meteor Golem. Colorless. He comes in, he destroys something. He's also a body. So you're getting the 2 birds and 1 stone. I'm loving it. The utility is there. It's what we're looking for in a colorless. Next up, we're going into 3 powerful board wipes around the colorless theme. First up, All Is Dust. So All Is Dust makes every player sacrifice colored permanents. We're playing no colored permanents. That's gonna hurt everyone but us most of the time. Most people have 1 color at least, unless they're playing an Eldrazi deck or a pure artifact deck. So this is gonna do us a lot of work. It's gonna clear the board, and not our board, most importantly. Next up, we got Oblivion Stone. So Oblivion Stone is it's an interesting board wipe. You're gonna put fate counters on stuff, and then once you're done putting fate counters, you're gonna sacrifice it, and then it's gonna destroy everything without the fate counter. Basically, it's a board wipe where we choose what stays and what goes. Next up, we got Nivaval's Disc. Nivaval's Disc, it comes in tapped, so you gotta wait a turn. But it's a threatening board wipe because people know you can use it at any time. So on your next turn, you can untap. You can choose to destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments with it. Great board wipe in my opinion. It restarts the field, sets us up for a great clean game. Next up, we got 5 colorless Planeswalkers that you're going to want to add to this deck. First up, Ugin, the Spirit Dragon. So Ugin, the Spirit Dragon's in here only for the reason that when you're down ticking him, he's in a removing colored permanents. We don't have any colored permanents, so he's going to be hurting everyone but us. He's also a pretty high budget card. So you can, on these Planeswalkers, you can add whatever other ones you want. It's just that the colorless Planeswalkers are all going to be expensive because they're all going to be cards and Ugins. That's pretty much what you're going to be getting. Ugin the Infallible. Another Ugin. I mean, we're going to have a lot of Ugins in here. This one is only here. He's going to reduce all your colorless spells by 2. So he's kind of almost a mana rock again. His other abilities are just icing on the cake. But he's only in there to reduce the huge bombs that we're going to be playing. Karn, Scion of Urza. So Karn, Scion of Urza, he's going to be exiling stuff on the top of your library with a silver counter. And then what you're going to be doing is you're going to be bringing stuff back in with silver counters. So he's kind of drawing. He's a way to, you're drawing, but you're not really drawing. He just adds more. He's a value guy. Karn Liberated. You know we have another Karn in here. This one, he's in there because you're going to be exiling stuff out of people's hands. Kind of checking what they got, too. And then when you ult him, you're going to restart the game, but you're going to bring in everything you've been exiling out of people's hands. So it get pretty nasty because you can bring in some other people's bombs that they may have been trying to save. And last but not least, Karn the Great Creator, another Karn. He's only in there because you can down tick him to put a card from outside the game into your hand. And you can actually have a sideboard in Commander if you didn't know this. And you're actually going to be taking cards out of your sideboard, putting them right into your hand, and they can be just as ridiculous as the cards that we've been showing you here today. Next up, we got 3 tutors you're going to want to put in there. So these 3 tutors we have are Planar Portal, boom, Conduit of Ruin, bam, and Planar Bridge. All 3 of these are high mana tutors, so you're not going to be tutoring mana rocks with these. You're going to already have enough mana to drop the bombs. Go ahead and search that deck for an Ulamog, an Emrakul, or a Blightsteel, and you set yourself up for a great turn to put some hurt on the opponents. They're going to be worried. Alright, next up, we got 7 cards. They're going to help you keep your board alive, keep you alive, and keep your game flowing pretty smooth. Alright, we got Erratic Portal. Erratic Portal lets you bounce one of your creatures back to your hand. This is important because we don't have a lot of creatures on the field to begin with. Our bombs are very valuable. So if you can save your Blightsteel from being exiled, bounce it back to your own hand, you've actually wasted their removal, and your Blightsteel is coming right back next turn. You have the mana. Soul of New Phyrexia. Soul of New Phyrexia is going to just turn all your stuff into indestructible when you need to, preventing a board wipe. We got Swiftfoot Boots and Lightning Greaves. These are both just going to give your stuff hexproof and shroud, haste, attack a little quicker, protect it more. Platinum Empyrean and Platinum Angel are both very similar. They're going to stop you from losing the game. No matter how much you're getting hit, no matter how much damage you're taking, they got to deal with that right away. And then we got Vedalken Orrery. Vedalken Orrery, flash speed. Go ahead and play that Blightsteel at the end of the opponent's turn before your turn. No responses. Next up we got a creature, one creature that cheats in your commander pretty interestingly. It's Geode Golem. Yes, Geode Golem. So if Geode Golem, all he has to do is deal combat damage to an opponent, and you can actually cast your commander for free. And our commander's not cheap, so getting a free cast is huge. Imagine getting them in turn 5. Next up, we got a 3-card combo. That's right. Assemble these 3 pieces, and you're going to be in good hands. Alright, the 3 cards that work well. Unwinding Clock, Mycosync Lattice, and Darksteel Forge. So the way the combo works, once you have all these out, everything's turned into artifacts. All your artifacts are indestructible, and all your artifacts untap on everyone else's turn. What you have is a well-oiled machine that cannot be destroyed. At this point, you're going to close the game out. Unless they have a way to slowly pick apart anything. If you have these 3 out, it's actually, I would assume, a game-ending play. Next up, we got 29 non-basic lands that are going to come in handy for some utility. We got 29 non-basic lands. They're going to add a lot of utility to the deck. These ones are interchangeable with Colorless Wastes. What they're going to do is they're going to make, they all tap for Colorless. They're either going to tap for double Colorless, they're going to make stuff unblockable. They're going to make creatures come out of combat. They're going to tutor. They're going to cheat in your commander and whatnot. Also, this is where a lot of your price is going to be held up in. If you wanted to reduce the budget on this deck, I would actually cut it out of these lands. You're going to spend a lot on these special lands, but it's going to add a lot of overwhelming power to them if you're going to be able to put that budget into these. And then the last and not least, we got 10 basic lands. The Wastes. The Wastes, they tap for just straight Colorless. Of course, you can add more of these. The tap for Colorless, interchangeable. That's actually all that's left about it. The Wastes are cheaper than a non-basic, so you're going to save a lot of budget adding more of these and taking out maybe even Mana Rocks, actually. You can actually save a lot replacing some of the Mana Rocks with just more of these or some of these non-basics. Keep that budget low if you wanted to. I really like the Eldrazi deck. It is a battle cruiser deck. So what you're doing is you're assembling giant creatures that have to be dealt with, or you're going to end up taking over the game. The weakness is removal. So if someone's removing what you have is a problem, because you spent a lot of mana to get it out. Another weakness is your draw is going to be not too great in this. So that you got to be careful of how much you're playing out of your hand. Otherwise, you're not going to have any mana problems running this deck. That's what's nice about it. You're going to always have a nice fat stack of mana, fat stack of Mana Rocks. And yeah, I'm loving the Eldrazi. It's doing great. And I wanted to tell you, it's a very expensive deck. The budget's high that we created. Of course, you can take Mana Rocks out. You can use cheaper colorless creatures, cheaper non-basic lands. I appreciate you tuning into this video, and I hope you tune into other videos and keep on showing up, because we can't do it without you, and we can't do it without more people to play with.